Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back in the yard of streams for another Smackdown breakdown, part of Pitts and Sara's wrestling show, where we take no nights off. And obviously, I don't just mean me. I mean, also the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. Sara, what's poppin', bro?
Hey, yo.
Hey.
What's poppin'? How we doing?
We're doing.
Before we got on here, I usually try to think of something little like not wrestling related, just to icebreaker conversation to start the show. And this one I was like, all right, yeah, well, whatever. And then as you witnessed before we hopped in here, my little nephew comes down and says, Papa needs your help. And you can't tell a kid no when he says Papa like. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And it was to go put the solar cover on our pool. Now, Sara, the solar cover on our pool is basically just it's hanging on for its last life. I mean, I just tugged like this, just a little like that, just a little one of these. It rips the entire thing. So it is hanging on.
What is a solar cover?
It's like a cover, like I would say, looks like a tarp, but it's
but like
UVs
what
and stuff. And you put it on your pool to heat it rather than buying a heater.
Oh,
very interesting. Yeah,
we need the opposite of that. We need a cooler.
Yeah, not here. We like it hot here, but for you,
feel free. There are days where our pool is literally 95 degrees.
That's disgusting.
It's a giant hot tub. That's basically what it is. And it's like we'll be so hot, we'll go in it, and then it's like you get used to it, but it's not refreshing because it's like
so brutal.
It's 120 degrees outside and we're floating around in a pool that's 95 degrees. So it's like, what am I doing?
That's so tough. That is just like that is like I couldn't. The whole purpose you get into a pool, is when it's like 75, pushing 80. I don't like to go over. It's like over 82 is ridiculous to me. It's
oh my god, I don't like to go in the pool unless it's in the 80s. But I think
everyone's
it's also
like that. It's so weird.
I think part of it though is you have to think about the temperature difference. Like you guys, it's just like in the 90s. So being in the pool when it's 80 something, it's like, oh, that's not that big of a difference. But when it's like 115, 120, going anywhere under like 90 is like, oh,
yeah,
I guess freezing.
Yeah, no. We got main event Fro.
What's up?
And Bernard, one of our
Bernard,
most loyal peeps. Shout out Bernard.
Yes, sending you all the love today.
All the love to Bernard today.
Yes.
But Sara, I don't have a lot of love for this episode of Smackdown. I liked the segments I liked. But if I'm thinking of this like a Netflix show you want to binge, you're going to go back and rewatch this episode in the catalog.
Yeah.
No, the entirety of it, no, you're not.
I know.
Which kind of sucks. But it was just weird. And it takes a lot for me to be dumbfounded by a finish, a moment, what have you. And there were two moments on SmackDown where I genuinely just looked at the screen and just repeated inaudible whats to myself because I had no explanation for it.
Yeah, no, I know. It was an episode. I mean, every single week I will spoil SmackDown for myself anyway because
that's on you.
Yeah, I do it on purpose.
Yeah,
because if it's like not that good of an episode, then I don't worry about watching it on Friday night because I have other things I can do. But yeah, I fast forward through quite a bit of it, because I was like, I just don't like, I'm just not interested in this, or like, what was this? I mean, I've watched everything, but it was an interesting show for sure.
It started out with this. I'll cue that banner up.
Oh, okay.
And it started off with this, which I liked. We'll start off. We kind of negative. We'll jump into what we liked. I liked how this kicked off the show because to me, this shows that they have a direction at least with the women's division and women's title picture. And
Yeah.
to have Asuka and Charlotte kick off the show, very strong match to get the crowd going.
Yeah, it was nice that it was something we haven't seen in a long time. Couldn't even tell you the last time that they had women start Raw or SmackDown, if we're being honest. I also have to say I love Charlotte's gear, the red gear. I don't know what it is. The robe and the gear, I loved it. And I don't really like a lot of her gear recently, so I had to mention that because I did enjoy it. So I did find this interesting because obviously Asuka lost the title at SummerSlam, and the way it happened was she could still be feuding with Bianca, she could still be feuding with Charlotte, but they went with Asuka Charlotte, and Bianca wasn't on the show at all, so I don't know if they're still trying to sell that she's injured kind of, or what they're trying to do. I don't know, but this was fine. It felt kind of random just because they weren't really ever feuding to begin with. It was more so Bianca and Charlotte. So Asuka and Charlotte, it was just kind of like, okay. I mean, it was going to be a good match because it's Asuka and it's Charlotte.
Yeah.
But I think the highlight was Damage Control. So Io comes out with Bayley and Dakota. And, just to send a little reminder to the girlies in the ring, like, hey, ladies, don't forget who's champ now. And I guess at one point she got sick of watching it because then she decided to interfere and just springboard into the ring and drop kick them both, and then was doing some flips. And I was like, girl, what?
I've watched that at least 5-10 times now of her doing that double kick, springboard, drop kick, double into a kip up, and then a front handspring into another, and then a little jig, a little nice a jig with the legs. I was like, this is my champion. I was all in on Io doing this, and I love that Damage Control is finally slowly climbing back to the tops of the faction game. We like this. I'm a huge fan of Damage Control. How can you not?
Well, and that's something we had talked about a lot, is that we really liked Damage Control. We were just really disappointed with how they were being used. And so I like the aspect of it kind of being a championship for all three of them, because I think even Michael Cole mentioned it, or it was Corey, somebody on the commentary mentioned about, like, it's our championship, it's our title. And it was when Bayley was saying it, and I'm like, yeah, but that's cool because we don't see that ever anymore. And I mean, I don't think it's going to get to a Lay Cool situation where they're going to literally cut it in half, which I still thought was incredible.
3/3.
Yeah, but I do like it, and I feel like this could have been a potential setup for maybe Io's first feuds. Maybe she will be going after, Charlotte or Asuka. I don't know. But I do like that Damage Control is kind of like all in it together.
They need to be. There's such a strong faction together, and they were just not booked correctly. Now with the whole shakeup of an actual draft, rosters, and then Io finally getting that opportunity to come full circle. It's a good way to keep them strong and not stale. Is another way, because there's so many different avenues you can go down if you do a 3-person, like, it's our championship, and it adds another element to that heel's way of winning, and it just could make for some really good feuds, rivalries with different women that I would say aren't getting the TV time, kind of need a little bit of a push. They'd be a perfect group to work with.
And it's good for any potential feud within Damage Control. You know, so
Yeah,
like if that's ever something that they want to do, they're already kind of setting up the groundwork for it, because obviously a championship can strain any team, as we know from watching Judgment Day. So
boys on Raw.
yeah. But one of the biggest things that we wanted to talk about involves Austin Theory. So before getting into it, we knew that the U.S. title was going to be defended on SmackDown, because after the number one contender type of whatever they were doing, what they announced that it wasn't going to be on SummerSlam, basically, or we kind of figured out that it wasn't going to be on SummerSlam, that it was going to be a week or two afterwards. So we knew the U.S. title match was going to be happening, but of course they had to do it in the WWE way, where Theory doesn't want to face Escobar for some reason, because he's got some big old beef with him, I guess.
Like, I don't get it.
I know.
I don't get it. But continue. Sorry.
So Escobar was being interviewed about the upcoming match, and then Theory went and just basically beat the crap out of him. And it seemed like, okay, so now you took Escobar out of the match, okay? Later we see Escobar in the back with the trainers, of course, and Adam Pearce is like, "You're cleared to go, but like I need you to look me in my eyes and tell me that you're ready." I'm like, Adam, you take this job way too seriously. Okay.
Way too. I love Adam Pearce taking it Teddy Long level of serious.
It's
actually more serious.
Yeah. Yes, he doesn't turn everything into a tag match also, which is nice.
Maybe he should.
Maybe.
Anyway.
So Escobar is like, "I can do it." And I was like, okay. And then when he's making his entrance, Theory then attacks him again, which presumably takes him out of the match. So then it's like, oh no, what are we going to do? And then we get Rey Mysterio is like, I'll do it.
Dude, I don't.
So he steps in for Escobar instead of, I don't know, rescheduling the match. Like, why not just reschedule it and be like, hey, Theory, we're going to lock you in a broom closet next time to make sure that you cannot beat up your opponent. But Rey was like, no, boys, I got this. So obviously it goes on. He ends up beating Theory, which we thought was going to happen anyway. We thought Theory was going to be
there's no shot that Austin Theory was walking out of SmackDown US champion. The problem is that was not who any of us had the knowledge of the winner. Like, I see this struggle. See the struggle to find words, Sarah, right now. That is how I felt the entirety of this segment. Like, just every finish to it, segue into the next match. Like, I'm just sitting there like, what did I just watch? How does that even make sense? Why is Rey Mysterio winning the United States title? Is it going to now be LWO's title? So what? We're just going to have like a representative from each faction. Just like, okay, we want to be the champion. So we're going to send our healthiest. And then, they can't go. Well, sneak attack. Like, it's just, I'm sorry, but we're going in such a great direction as a product, both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And then little shit like this just pops up, and you got the champ all hot and bothered.
And this is the thing too. Like, we've talked about it before. Obviously, it's really easy to point the finger for anything that doesn't make sense or is bad or whatever on Vince McMahon, but there's instances like this where it's like, no, Triple H deserves some criticism because this was a weird situation and didn't need to happen, because there's multiple ways that I was trying to figure out why it happened. And the first thought, because I think we were texting as after it happened, my first thought was, okay, maybe Rey Mysterio was supposed to be the number one contender originally, but because he got the whiplash or whatever in the match against Escobar, they had to kind of call an audible and be like, okay, Santos is going to win and we'll just figure out the rest later. And it's possible because if he had been concussed, that they didn't know how long he would be out and they couldn't push the match back. So it was like, okay, it's safest to go with Escobar. They got to do what they got to do. But that was my first thought.
Why is Rey winning? The only logical thing I could think of from that, from a long-term booking standpoint, was when you remember Theory on commentary, he cost Ray the match to
Right.
move on.
Yeah.
And that, to me, I mean, whatever, is like, all right, so what kind of you allude to? Was he supposed to win after all? And this was just to set up a Ray versus Theory, another legend
Yeah, because
storyline,
when he
which
did
that's
that, we
just
were like,
stupid.
we said that was so random. Like, why was he so mad at Rey Mysterio to do that? You know, like we even talked about it. We were like, that didn't make any sense. But maybe, like you said, maybe he did that because this was the plan.
It had to be. That's the only thing that logically makes sense, because other than that, there's no reason to put the title on Ray. If you're gonna push a younger star and a champion that the title makes the champ, in this instance, it's Escobar. I mean, he's a perfect ambassador for the company, and it's a baby face that the kids are going to get behind and bring. It's going to bring legitimacy back to the U.S. title, so that it can eventually lead to an LA Knight type of guy to win it again, and whatnot. I'm just so annoyed that was. I just don't get it. I don't.
Because then the other situation I had thought of, which doesn't seem likely, but it's just relevant for the situation when something like this happens, was like, okay, is Santos going to turn heel? Like, is he going to get pissed off that his opportunity was taken from him? And not only that, but then his like mentor and hero took the title. Like, he won the title, and so it's like, okay, now what do? I can't go after Ray for the title, but he stepped in for me. It seems unlikely just because they were brought up as heels and then they changed to the LWO. So I find it hard to imagine that they'll do that all of a sudden. But yeah, otherwise I'm just kind of confused on like what all of this buildup was between Theory and Escobar. As limited as it was, it still was, put on TV that there was an issue between Escobar and Theory, and now it's like, okay, like, where I don't know, maybe it's another situation where we need to like trust the process. I hate that saying. I hate that saying because of the Sixers. That's why I hate it. Every time I hear trust the process, I just think of the Sixers.
Crew. I want to get this out of the way that I am not mad. I wanted Escobar to win. I think we all want Escobar to win. If you're gonna do this, whatnot. But to do with Ray, I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. I don't get what you're doing here. You can't make him go heel, because then everything you've just done with the LWO that's organically got over, you're going to ruin it to push a single star that's nowhere close to being ready for that main event spotlight. And this would be a perfect little thing for him to have. Babyface champ, babyface US champ, all that.
Well, yeah, because we were saying, the reason why we wanted Theory to lose was because we thought it would be beneficial to him, but also beneficial to whoever ended up winning. It just happened to be Escobar that was going to be his opponent. And so it was like, okay, so that will help Theory because Theory needs something new with his character. And then this would help Escobar become more established, more legit. And hopefully at some point, whether it was with Escobar or whoever beat him for the title, to elevate the US title, because it's basically, pennies compared to what the Intercontinental Championship value is right now.
Yeah.
So it's not that like Ray isn't a quality champion, but it just doesn't feel like the right time to have done that, put the title on him, especially like, he's not even super active on the shows and stuff anymore either.
I get you want to legitimize the title maybe from winning it from a guy like Ray, and then that's the guy that has the lengthy reign. But you didn't need to do that. I think there's just an unnecessary step.
Did you also notice that he kind of gave us a tell that he was going to get in the match because he changed masks?
I did not notice he changed masks.
He was wearing a green one at like the beginning of the show, and then he ended up changing to the white one, and it's because it was for his gear. So I was like, he kind of gave us a tell, because like, when do you see Rey Mysterio changing masks? Like, he doesn't.
That's true.
He doesn't do that. But I thought that was interesting, because at first I was like, wait a second, when is he wearing white? But anyway, so
Bernard says, do you think with Ray winning the title, will this mean Santos turning on Ray down the line in the future? No.
Well, that's why I said that's a possibility that came to my head.
Yeah, I would come to you. Yeah.
But it's hard for me to believe, because they brought Legado del Fantasma up from NXT and it just didn't work. Whether it's their fault, whether it's Triple H's fault or creative's fault, I don't know. I'm just saying it just didn't transfer well from NXT to SmackDown. And then once they changed over to the LWO one random day when they just showed up with the music, it hit, merch is selling, they got a crazy reaction in Puerto Rico, and then they aligned themselves with Rey Mysterio. So it seems like it would be a foolish thing to do, but I don't think it's something that they wouldn't do eventually, but I feel like it would have to be like a while. And I just don't know that we really want to see Rey holding the US title for like months.
No, we can't.
Yeah.
Calvin, when do you think Theory will turn face? I think it is in the process because of the video that we saw today. It's a great little segue.
Oh, I didn't see the video. What video?
It's a video that he posted on his story that got tweeted out, and it's him being part of a Vice documentary about how much he loves wrestling and all this.
He's gonna make me love him again, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think that this is a good opportunity for them to kind of take him off TV. Like I said, I saw some people talking about like keep him off for a month or two and try to figure something out. Because obviously in wrestling world, you kind of have to be off TV for a bit for people to kind of forget about you a little. Like not entirely, but enough that like when you come back and you're a completely different person, it's not so weird.
Yeah.
But now that they don't have him as the champion, I don't think that he needs to be around and being like, I need a rematch. Like, I don't think we need to see that. We saw that with Bobby Lashley for months. So it's like we don't, and Seth Rollins. I think it could be a good time right now to have them keep him off for a while, or I don't know. I don't know that they can really have him all of a sudden just do a 180 and he's like completely different on next week's SmackDown. I think that
it's going to take time.
They have to do something with him, though. I think he would be a good babyface. I know that he has the look and like the vibe kind of a heel, but I think that he's too nice of a person in real life that he's just not there yet. He doesn't he always hits like the low-hanging fruit of being a heel. Like, I'm a great champion. I beat your favorite guy. I'm like really hot. I could steal your girlfriend. Like, I'm a bad guy. Like, that's just kind of like
boy.
Like, I'm a bad boy. I'm just like a bad little boy. That's like how I'm such a bad boy, guys. Like, so that's like how he is. And I think, he's what, 25, 26 years old right now.
Me. That's tough.
So
that is real
he
tough.
has plenty of time to figure that out. And it's true. Like we were just talking about, with age comes like people become better wrestlers. It's just like with anything else in life, you become more confident, more wise, like more sure of yourself. You become better at your job, whatever it is. And it's the same thing with wrestling. He's very young, very talented, but I do think that they need to figure something out because you don't want it to become a waste of having him now and then having it be like a Drew McIntyre thing where Drew McIntyre came in, was super talented, super great. You friggin' buried the shit out of him.
We're a 3-man band.
And then he had to go and leave, bulk up, grow some chest hair, and literally, and then became like a world champion. Like I would hate for that to see that happen.
Scottish, what was it? I forget. Whatever.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just still like, there's no way I'm living in a world right now where Rey Mysterio is still champion, like a champion of some sort.
Yeah.
Proud of him, like incredible. Like it's Rey fucking Mysterio. But like we need fresh crop. We need fresh crops for harvest.
I agree. All right, moving on to Edge. He returned for the 18th time. And with his return, he challenged Sheamus. So we see Edge return, as I said, for the 18th time this year. And he talks about how next week they are going to be having his 25-year celebration, which will be happening in his hometown of Toronto. I forget how the Canadians say it. I don't know. Toronto. I don't know.
No, that sounds so Boston.
Toronto. No. And so he says he wants to have a match with a man that he has never faced one-on-one, and that is Sheamus, which I was like, oh wow, okay. I was a little shocked about that, just because, you know, nothing against Sheamus, but I think when someone has like a dream match, I can't imagine it being like, I really want to face Sheamus. You know, I don't know why I said it like that.
What the fuck? What was that?
I don't know.
What the fuck was that?
I just caught the Lucky Charms. I don't know. And so he goes into why he chose Sheamus, and he says that Sheamus was a big reason why he came back to WWE.
Did not know that.
And they basically got all lovey-dovey on each other once Sheamus and the Brawling
Real bro sesh. There was a lot of man love right there.
Yeah, to the point of we saw Edge's pale ass on TV, which was...
Hey, we've seen a lot worse.
That is true. We saw a fake sexual encounter.
I thought they had sex on live TV. I was that young where I was like, what is happening?
The fact that I don't remember what I thought, but I remember feeling uncomfortable.
Like, there's no way they're doing this.
Yeah. That's a conversation for another day.
Just guys being dudes.
Yeah, just guys being. That is one of my favorite vines. Or yeah, it was a vine. I love that vine. Have you seen it?
Yeah, just go look.
Oh yeah, the guy
Steven Tazio.
Oh, is it? I don't know. I just knew it was a guy on
the BC football head coach.
Oh, okay. Like, what does he say? Look at what's better than this?
Guys being dudes.
That's my favorite one.
It's awesome.
Also, this message is for what is it? What is it? There's another one. I'll tell you about it later. I love watching old vines.
Oh, I hate it.
But anyway, so Sheamus accepts the challenge, right? And of course he does. But then a lot of people started talking, okay, like, is it possible that this is too good to be true? That this is just going to be Edge's last match? Because not only did he essentially request his opponent, but also it's in his hometown. And we know that he has been coming and going, hence his 18th return. Do you think that this will be his last match, or do you think it's just going to be like one of his final matches?
It's a journey. This is his last leg. To start off a dream match, we'll say, with Sheamus. This isn't the main event. So what he's doing right now is he's checking the boxes of each wrestler he would like to face before he retires. And to start with Sheamus, great. It's going to build. So, you know, Edge may return for the 19th, 20th, 21st time. And every time he returns, it's going to be against someone on his list. Keep himself relevant for a little bit. We're right after SummerSlam, so
you think it'll end at Mania?
You think, yeah, he'll probably have his last match at WrestleMania in Philly, which makes it even more important that we get tickets, which is creeping up on us. Like,
they already went on sale. What
do you mean? It's August 18th.
Oh, okay. Well, still, some of them are like $25,000. So anyway,
that's awesome. That is,
yeah. Imagine being able to just go on Ticketmaster and like put in $25,000 for tickets
one day.
Like, it's crazy.
One day.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think that'll be kind of a cooler way for him to go out instead of just having a retirement match. Like, I get it. That's the easiest thing for some people, and in some situations they can't dedicate several weeks or months of their time to being on TV every week and finishing a story or whatever. And that's probably going to be the case with Edge, but I do think it would be cool for it to end at Mania, and that he kind of does have a bucket list almost. It'd be nice if he could even go to Raw too. Like, who cares about the draft? Just have him go to whatever show he wants.
He should be a free agent. Legends are free agents.
Yeah, that would be nice. And I guess if that is what he ends up doing, then I can forgive the 8,000 returns, because you know me, I hate it. I'm not I was never like a huge fan of Edge to begin with. I respect him, and obviously he's put on phenomenal matches, but I was never like, I'm an
either.
Edgehead. I'm an
I was
Edgehead.
not an Edgehead.
I wasn't.
Game respects game.
Yeah,
but I was
right.
not an Edgehead.
My sister was an Edgehead. It was like she was a Jerichoholic, and I never was either. But
Jesus, I did not appreciate Chris Jericho and Edge too, since we're on the same topic. But those two guys, well into, I would say, like high school, is where I was like, oh, these guys are good. Like these are.
I
are
always
legends.
respected them, but you have like, when you're a young little lady watching wrestling, you kind of pick your favorites based on what they look like for the most part. And so for me, Chris Jericho was not my type of man. Okay. I liked another Chris more. And I'm not saying his name on purpose.
I figured.
Okay. So and I mean that fits me to a T, does it not?
No, it does. Yeah, no, yeah. It's pretty on point.
Yeah. So, yeah, I always respected them, but I was never, and I think I was actually at a Smackdown towards the end of when Edge was originally, like when he originally retired. I was at a Smackdown where he was like talking to the audience and stuff afterwards. But otherwise, yeah, I haven't been like super excited about all these returns. But if this is what he planned on doing, then I'm here for it. Jeez Louise, I saw a lot of
well, yeah, a lot of comments are all about Edge's last match.
Oh, okay. I was like, I saw 13 comments. I was like, what is going on?
There are a lot.
Okay, hold on. Let me take this off and then go. There you go.
Yeah, we just kind of alluded to that. Oh, Mike is showing love to you like usual.
Thank you. I love how I always get complimented. I'm like not wearing any makeup either, so it like.
Yeah, no, it's fine, guys. I don't really.
I'm just naturally beautiful.
Either. No, I just.
That would be a great. The Kingdom of Razor says, I really wish John Cena was his last opponent.
That would be a really good last opponent. I think that was his best feud.
It would be like 5 years ago. John Cena wrestling now, I mean,
they put on a hell of an old man match.
Yeah, but Edge still has one over him, I think. Like that match against Theory at Mania was a little rough. And I mean, I can't blame him. He's a movie star now, so it's like he doesn't have the time.
Bumps. He can't take certain bumps. That was The Rock too.
But you know what? I still love him. Still my number one.
Edge last match and goes to AEW, tags with Christian and feuds with the Bucks. I don't hate that. I would love.
I know. I want. Can we have some people be WWE lifers?
I think Edge, if anything, should be a WWE lifer. But
yeah, Christian doesn't. It doesn't bother me because he went to Impact anyway. So it's like he's already not a lifer.
Christian shined in Impact.
I'm not saying anything. No, I didn't mean anything bad.
Oh, I know. No. I'm building. Like,
okay.
He thrived in Impact.
Did he go by Christian too?
Feud? Huh?
Did he go by Christian in TNA?
Christian Cage.
Oh, got it. Okay, there we go. Okay. So clever.
Edge and Omega, Edge versus Moxley, I don't think would happen. John Moxley likes to bleed too much.
Moxley's weird.
I fucking love John Moxley.
I
love the Blackpool Combat Club. They are so badass. Chris Masters would be sick too, just because I haven't seen Chris Masters in a minute. So yeah, that's
moving on.
Moving on.
All right. Then we got to my favorite part of the evening, which was Mr. LA Knight versus Top Dollar. And we've seen this the last couple weeks, but I don't care. It was another quick win for LA Knight. And then I love when he gets on the mic afterwards and he's just like, yeah, like 5 times before he's like, let me talk to you. And I'm like, he's just like going ham right now. Like he's just walking around the ring like, yeah.
He's feeding the crowd through the palm of his finger. Like just eating.
So, but what I liked was, he didn't cut his typical little promo that he's been doing on SmackDown because we know he was on Raw. So there's a little bit of substance there, thankfully, that we've been begging for. So he gets on the mic and says, it doesn't matter where he goes, Raw or SmackDown. It doesn't matter if you think you're awesome or your name is Uncle Phil. At the end of the day, you know whose game it is. It's LA Knight's game. I was waiting for you to.
Whose game is it? It's LA Knight's game.
I was getting to there. I'm a little
Oh,
slow.
I think you should let me just do that part because I'm like sitting here. I'm like waiting for you to press it.
Oh, if you have it up, just
I
hit
have
it.
to press it.
Just hit the button. You know,
Don't get
So
excited.
no one get excited.
I mean, anyway, so I'll always get excited. So this was good because we were talking about, I mean, okay. We were talking about, we weren't sure if this whole thing of LA Knight versus The Miz was going to be a one-off or if it was going to be a long-standing thing. And the fact that he said this on SmackDown makes it seem like it's going to be more than just a one-night thing. Obviously, things can change and I could be wrong, but it gave me some hope. Give me some hope here in my heart that we're going to see LA Knight on Raw and SmackDown, and we're going to see an Edge, Miz and LA Knight feud.
We need to see a Miz and LA Knight feud, and the fact it's showing his range. I mean, the fact that he can be on Raw, be on SmackDown, still get the pops that he is. They're just capitalizing on it. I mean, I think I said on, I forget what show it was we did. Maybe it was the Movement, but they're milking the cow. You know, they're just milking the cow for all it's worth. So they're slowly doing it, throwing them on both shows. And the difference between Miz and this one, let me play the soundbite. This I'll play. This whose game is it? It's my favorite. I have one of my favorite things I did. Okay, so you have a substance. This is like, it's showing how good he really is. Let's like look at it from a little bit further out. So on Raw, he has a legit substance feud with The Miz because he's taking the spotlight, all that. And yeah, they explained it in the promo. On SmackDown, it's his show, but you got to make him look strong. And he's been feuding with Hit Row, gets Hit Row on TV. Hit Row doesn't need to win. Okay, they just need to be out there, just need screen time, and they're getting it with LA Knight. And you need to make him look strong too. I mean, for instance, Top Dollar selling that BFT, that was probably one of the best sells I've seen of it, since he's brought it up here. And you need guys like that to make you look strong and build you up, so that when you do go to Raw, you are this strong, character built up to be able to feud with a guy like The Miz. And they're doing this so well that I'm just appreciating it rather than trying to critique it.
I'm just really excited that I could possibly be seeing him on Monday also, because Raw is my show.
That is your show.
So especially now when you have LA Knight on there and Pretty Deadly is not on SmackDown. I mean, I watch SmackDown, but like my top favorites are gone or on Raw as well. So like, this is just the perfect thing for me to have LA Knight on Raw. And we had said that he should have been on Raw in the draft anyway. So this just kind of is a little added bonus for me. But since we're talking about Top Dollar, what do you think is going on with Hit Row? Because I think that they've been back for a year now and people are like, what do you think of their return? And obviously it was a lot hotter at the beginning when they first returned. And it's kind of like dwindled down since, but they have been on SmackDown the last couple weeks. They did have that moment at Madison Square Garden. Top Dollar responded to a tweet that said that he deserves to be pushed and he seems to be fine because he's like, I'm on SmackDown and I am getting matches with one of the top guys right now. Like, that is a push.
That's a push.
So
that's what, yeah.
So and that's something that I think you were saying, about the fact that they've been having LA Knight go against Top Dollar. People forget that it takes two people to put on a match. And not every single person that loses, or even if they keep losing week after week, it does not mean that they're being buried. It doesn't mean that they aren't thought highly of. It just means maybe right now we don't have anything for you, but we like you enough to put you on TV. And in this case, they're putting them on TV against one of the hottest guys in the company. Like, he's up there with the Bloodline. He's up there with Cody Rhodes. He's up there with Seth Rollins. We see it from the merch sales. You see it from the people in
the telltale sign.
And the signs, there's so many signs. There's so many people wearing LA Knight shirts. in the crowd. So like this is good for them, even if it is a short match, and maybe they are being like in almost like a squash match, you know, like in this match, Top Dollar actually did get some offense in. So that wasn't a squash, because 99% of the time they don't do shit in a squash match.
So
it's
you
like,
just take your beating and leave.
yeah. And so I think that it's not concerning at this point, but I know that people who are fans of Hit Row are a little bit like, you know, not the happiest right now. But that's why I wanted to ask you, because I do know how much you like Hit Row.
I really do like Hit Row. I think there is a place for them on this roster. Right now, their place is to be promoting the shit or helping build LA Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Take your losses now. You know, go through that heel villain era with LA Knight so that you can build yourselves up even more as a more threatening heel. So that when this tag team bullshit finally figures itself out, then you have a strong tag team. So right now, any tag team faction that we're not seeing a lot of, and it's like, well, oh, are they gone? Like, are they just not using them? They're waiting. You know, they're trying to get everything in order to, you know, with injuries and whatnot. They're just trying to keep it going and work to the point where you can have the tag titles finally split and have them actually have some feuds with some sort of substance. They're not going to do that right now. So you got to introduce the character. Who are Hit Row? Do they lose all the time? Are they heel? What's their shtick? That's what they're doing with LA Knight. You're just not seeing 100% of it when you watch it on television. So you have to be patient. Like,
Well,
let it play
and
out.
come on, guys, the subplot of Michael Cole hating on Top Dollar. It's gold.
It's Michael Cole is goddamn national treasure.
What, you know what? I actually wanted to talk about this for a second too.
Oh, get the banner up.
Oh, did you put it up?
I made a
Okay,
banner
yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah,
was gonna.
yeah.
I was.
Yes, so you read my mind. So this was the first Smackdown with the new commentary team, which was just basically moving Corey Graves and Kevin Patrick to SmackDown, but adding Michael Cole. So what I thought was interesting about that, right off the bat, from when we heard the news, was they had eliminated the three people commentary team. Like basically when Triple H finally kind of like got his footing as the guy in creative and whatever, he eliminated that, and I was all for it, because I do think that 3 people commentary teams is too much. Like it's just like too many people, and like some people aren't heard a lot. And I did notice that with Kevin Patrick. I felt like he was just kind of like sitting there for a bunch of the time. But from what I've heard, it's supposed to be beneficial to Kevin Patrick specifically, as he's like, you know, trying to become a commentator, like a better commentator.
Yeah.
So now he'll be sitting next to Cole and like learning from the best in the business.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it, but again, I prefer the 2 people commentary team over the 3. So I'll have to still see how I feel about it over the next coming weeks. But as of right now, I'm like, eh.
All right, so of course you do. Of course you only like the 2. That's your Raw, okay? Like Raw. Like when I think of Raw, I think of JR and King.
Yes.
You think of
well, and
Bobby
now you've got
McMahon,
Wade
you know,
Barrett. Wade Barrett.
Barrett.
And I'm still
Wade
sad about
Barrett.
that. I'm Wade Barrett. Stu Bennett. You know?
Stu Bennett.
That's his name.
I know.
He just does he look like a stew? He kind of
do
does.
it. Yeah.
Stew. Remember when he had a thing with
Stew?
Alicia Fox?
That is not for right now, but
Okay.
I do want to go back to that because
Okay.
did not know that.
Total Divas.
No, I did not know that. But with Raw, it's the flagship show.
Yeah.
You want to make it feel as sportsy, all the lights on it, whatever it may be. SmackDown's a fun show. All right, it's a little bit more light. It's got 2 hours, obviously, whatnot. But you can tell the rosters it's a little different. It's a little bit more loose, a little more comedic. And with 3 guys, it puts the banter back and forth where, you don't have just one-on-one. You do have that middleman who can kind of toe the line.
And that's Kevin Patrick.
and that's Kevin Patrick right now. But the main reason why they're doing it, and I know this for a fact, is that Michael Cole is going back to more of his character days, and where he's more of a talent rather than a commentator. If you listen to how he's commentating on the matches, he's bringing back certain, feuds that he had with people. I mean, the Bailey stuff, going at Austin Theory again, like really at Austin Theory, and a commentator, Top Dollar, a commentator in his position on SmackDown or now Raw. You can do that, but you still need to, keep the show going. You know what I mean? And that's what Kevin Patrick's there for. Michael Cole can go on his little rants and skits and whatnot, and then you can even bring him into the fold on screen for certain things if you want to go that far. But you can't really do that with Kevin Patrick, and you need a commentator there too. It's a very smart move on their part to put Cole in that role.
Yeah.
I just really hope that Kevin Patrick gets more reps in and let Cole to be just more of a character.
Yeah. I agree here that there's no more Barrett hogging over.
Bro.
I know.
Sad.
I'm bummed about that, which is nice because we did get some of that on Raw since LA Knight was on Raw. I'm really upset too about the Pretty Deadly stuff because I loved hearing Wade talk about Pretty Deadly. So I'm really sad that we're not going to get any more sound bites of that, but maybe another day we'll get it. I don't know.
Maybe pay-per-views. Pay-per-views are coming up.
Maybe. Oh my God, I miss Pretty Deadly so much. I can't even. Okay, anyway, let's move on. So we got another clip, a little snippet of Bobby Lashley and the Suit Profits. I don't know why I didn't say Suit Profits, or the Almighty Profits. I prefer Suit Profits.
The Mighty Prophets. We are the Prophets, the mighty Prophets.
Okay.
Anywhere we go, people want to know.
Okay. So first of all, I want to say LOL at Angelo for wearing a bow tie. He literally looked like he was wearing a suit and tails. I was like, what is happening?
Tuxedo.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was very fancy, which I thought was funny. And they also allude to They allude to wanting to accomplish something specific together as a group. And we got a little snippet of it when they were on SmackDown a couple weeks ago when they beat up the OC, which still, I mean, I don't really know why you're going after the OC. I don't know what they did to you, but that's fine. And then they also were cheered for. So if you're trying to have them be bad guys, that's probably not the way to do it because the OC, you never have them on TV anyway. So I'm curious how you think that they'll do as a heel group. Assuming that's the direction that they're going in, because as I said, they didn't get that reception when they were first on SmackDown together. So
yeah, it's nice they're coming full circle and they're doing something with them. I see big things for them, especially in this new heelish role. It brings another element in where they're going to be a little bit more brutal. They're going to try to hurt. I think I have this comment here, the Hurt Prophets. They can be the Hurt Prophets. Like, they're going to just want to tear. And back to what I was saying about tag teams. You're doing all this introduction right now of different teams and whatnot, so that when KO and Sammy finally either drop both of them or one of them or whatnot, then you have tag teams to either face them or build the division back up to its legitimacy. I love it. Maybe even have Bianca in there. She's taking some time off, so maybe she gets involved somehow. I think she should. It would definitely be a nice angle to her character too, to develop a meaner, tougher side. We saw it with Becky Lynch already when she, kind of was going through her crazy things. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I love groups that have like one woman in them. Just, Judgment Day. Hello. But yeah, I think that it'll be interesting. I am excited about what they're going to do, but I want to see them more. Like, I don't want to keep seeing them just like sitting down, having like a fireside chat about like, oh my God, we're going to be such a good
cognac.
We're just going to be such a good group, guys. Like, we're just going to just kick ass and take names in our suits. Okay. Like, we're just going to look so good. We're going to
kick ass and take names in our suits.
Yeah. That's basically,
what it is.
I'm a suit guy. I just wear suits. Okay. I'm a suit fancy guy. Yeah, so I want to see that. And I'm also curious to see if they're gonna have Lashley more in like a managerial role, because that's what it looks like right now. But it feels like he's not at that point in his career where he's like, yeah, I'm done in the ring. So I find that interesting, because as much as I would, as much as I love managers, I want to see Bobby Lashley still in his little trunks. Or pants. Oh, I guess he's doing pants, isn't he?
He
got
does
older.
the pants. He does the
whatever.
Pants.
I would still like to see him in his tights, kicking some booty.
I just like your matches, Bobby. I don't
like
care
to just
what you
look
wear.
at you in your matches, Bobby.
Yeah,
I mean,
do
excuse me,
that.
Franklin.
That's the funniest one to me. The Almighty Prophets sound like an arrogant religious faction. Not wrong. If you're looking for that, look at Even Steven and Beyond Wrestling. Like they would be what the Almighty Prophets are, what you're describing. I hate them so much. I hate the Even Steven. They're just so I want to.
You know, it would be kind of cool too, like, because we know that they're going to be not coming out with the solo cups anymore. I would love for them to come out with like goblets of wine, just like instead of the solo cup, just like come out with a wine glass, like
nice Waterford glass.
Yes, just like with wine in it, red wine. Yeah, to just play up the fact that they are fancy now, that they wear suits.
It's a little Hunter Hearst Helmsley of
go for it. We stand. Okay.
Stanford, whatever he was, he looked like he was a.
He looked like the beast, the human beast in Beauty and the Beast.
That's a good comparison.
That's what he looked like, because he didn't have a beard. He's a guy. He's a guy that needs a beard. He's a beard fish. Let's move on to the bloodline.
This is what we came to see.
The meat and potatoes. Okay, so Roman comes out flanked by Paul, Mr. Paulie, and Solo Sikoa, and he asks Paul, "Where's Jimmy, dude? Have you spoken to Jimmy?" And I just,
this was awesome.
The way that Paul is like, "Yes, my tribal chief. I love you, my tribal chief."
I love you. I just acknowledging him.
He said that to him.
Oh, I've heard it multiple times when he says I love you to him. It just it pops me every time.
I love you, my tribal chief. Yes.
Yeah,
and so he's like, "Oh, I spoke to him this morning, but he was a little salty with me." So then Jimmy just pops out of fucking nowhere. You want to talk about? It was
so funny because like you see him arguing in the ring, and then there's just like shadow comes out of the crowd, and it's just a body outside the ring. You're like, who is that? And then you're like, oh, it's fucking Jimmy.
It's just funny because it was like, you want to talk about RKO out of nowhere? Jimmy just appeared out of nowhere.
Jimmy Uso out of nowhere.
It's one of those things where it's like, remember, didn't we say, Braun Strowman? Wasn't like Strowman just like popping up out of nowhere? And we were like, how does this man just pop up out of nowhere when he's a gigantic person? Like, I'm very confused, but apparently this is something that WWE does. So Roman tells Jimmy to not worry about the crowd because they were chanting, "You sold out, you sold out." And he's like, "Oh, don't even worry about it. Like, they say stuff to me too. Don't worry." And he asks Jimmy, like, "Hey, you did me a favor. So what do you want in return? Because I owe you one. How about a car? Do you want a yacht? Do you want power? Do you want to be my right-hand man? Like, name it, oos, and I'll give it to you." And Jimmy says, "You know what? Actually, I don't want anything from you because what I did at SummerSlam had nothing to do with you." Okay. So basically everything that I predicted on our SummerSlam post show happened. Okay. I just want to reiterate that. I posted the clip, guys, on my channel. I predicted what happens. Okay. I'm not bragging or anything, but like,
no, give yourself a round of applause, a little pat on the back. There you go. Yes. Applaud yourself.
Yeah. So then Mr. J comes out and he wants answers. He says he's about to throw out 37 years of brotherhood if Jimmy doesn't explain himself and his actions. And Jimmy says, "I did it because I love you. Wasn't out of jealousy. It wasn't for anything other than I was afraid of losing you, Jay. and I didn't want you to become the tribal chief. And he says, what would happen to the Usos if you became the tribal chief? And this is why, you know what, we're going to get to that point. We're going to get to that point in a minute, okay? So, you know why. Okay. So basically, we're just like, yeah, dude, what would happen to the Usos if Jay became the next tribal chief? What would happen if he did turn into Roman? Would he also become a belligerent, manipulative asshole, as Jimmy said? And he said, you know what? Actually, Jay, I'm fine with you hating me. I felt like I did what I had to do. And if you need to leave 37 years of our brotherhood, our twinship, then he'll deal with it. So Jimmy walks out of the ring. Roman laughs and is like, I told you so. You're such an idiot. Like, you're so stupid, Jay. Why didn't you listen to me?
This was like bully level. This was just unfucking
You're just such an idiot, you stupid idiot, you dummy. Like, he was just like harassing him.
Why you not listen to me?
Yeah.
Why I told you this for 3 years?
And so
acknowledged.
So he then gets hit with a super kick. Jay hits him with a super kick, and then all hell breaks loose in the ring. They all start going after each other. Solo comes after him. Jay then ducks the Samoan spike and then hits him with the super kick. Then Roman comes in, tries to get him, hit him with a Superman punch, but Jay hits him with a super kick and a spear. I don't even know. Jimmy then is like, oh, wait, my brother is walking up the ramp. Whoa, wait, I need you to come here, Jimmy. And Jimmy's like, oh, okay, la 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 la, like thinks he's gonna get like a hug, and then Jay's like, fuck you, and like hits him in the chin. And then it was like, oh man, and did you notice that Jimmy like died? Like,
someone compared it to someone yelled Andy's coming, and the toys like, and the toys fell. And it's so he was the eyes shot, the just
I'm dead.
Limp, like motionless body, like they were just.
He was like, if I'm gonna sell a move that my brother is putting on me, I'm gonna do it the best that I can.
That's why it was cinematic. This is why this is goddamn cinema every week. It is just, it's so good. And I've heard a lot of comments this week. What?
Did you want to talk about before what happened?
No, you finish up because I totally forgot about this in my ranting. But
So after that. Everyone's just kind of like looking around and being like, oh my God, except the crowd was really into the whole thing about hitting Jimmy. And I was like, you guys are so dumb. How dare you?
I think the crowd has some family issues that they need to work out.
Yeah. So then Jay tells the camera, I'm out of the bloodline, I'm out of Smackdown, and I'm out of WWE. And then everyone's like, yeah, because none of them in the arena had any idea.
No idea.
What he said. So they're all like, yeah, Jay, like patting him on the back, like, yeah. And I'm like, guys, he literally just was like, I'm out. And I'm like, you're like, yeah. So I understand the whole point of why they did that, right? Like, it was impactful for him to be saying it to the camera. But I did feel a little bit for like the crowd because like they have no idea what was happening until they got home, basically, or checked Twitter, I guess. So they're saying that none of the bloodline are scheduled for SmackDown next week, and that they're actually not scheduled for anything for a while, but particularly Jay. So what do you think happens now if we're meant to believe that Jay is out of WWE? Because guys, he's not. He's not. It's storyline.
He's really not. I really have to go ASMR here. And
he is still a member of the WWE
but Sarah, he's in the alumni page now. Wouldn't that mean?
Oh my God!
But wouldn't he not be in WWE if he was part of the alumni page?
He's going to show up at Dynamite on Wednesday.
I heard he's going to show up at All In Wembley. It's just one big plot.
No, he's going to show up at Dynamite, and then he's going to be at Impact, and then he's going to go to ROH, and then he's going to be at Collision, and then he's going to be
He's gonna be fucking everywhere.
It's gonna be Jey Uso everywhere.
Jey Uso taking over.
What if he did go to like? All right, in all seriousness, of course he's not fucking going to the places, but wouldn't it be interesting if he did like the smaller ones? Because I know WWE does allow for like little ones. At least I don't know.
I know that some people were saying the way for them to hammer home that he is out is for him to show up at other places. And I understand that to an extent, but I'm sorry, guys, they're not going to even allow Jay to have a one-off appearance at AEW. They're not going to, I mean,
no, it's not AEW that he's
Impact. I can only see Impact being it only, and I don't think that it's going to happen, but only because of like Mickie James was Knockouts champion when she came back to be in the Women's Royal Rumble last year. So like that was cool because it was like, what? Like Vince McMahon is allowing this, but I think that we're just supposed to believe like he's gone. Just like when, there's these matches that are like loser leaves WWE, they're not actually leaving. Like it's not,
What if they connected Impact with Trinity and Jay showed up and Trinity like had a conversation with him or something?
Maybe.
And that was it. That's the appearance. That's all you need.
Well, and yeah, and that's why I'm saying I think that it's more likely to happen with Impact because clearly there is some sort of relationship there because they allowed Mickie to be on WWE programming as Knockouts champion. And that is way bigger than just having Jey Uso have a backstage segment that could be pre-taped and he's not actually there. But I don't know that they necessarily need to do that to like convince us that he's gone. You know what I mean? Like, I think
it's like a cherry on top is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a sign for those who believe he actually quit, because there's going to be people who do believe that, like the kids or the marks out there. But I don't know that it's necessary. I think that if there really isn't any bloodline segment this upcoming SmackDown, I feel like that would be pretty indicative.
That's it. No, that's pretty definitive that the bloodline is dissolved for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's time for other players to get their shot. And the fact that next week is in Edge's hometown, he's going to have a match. Like, they're going to just dominate the show with Edge stuff.
Yeah.
Bloodline doesn't need to be there. Bloodline really doesn't have to be there the week after. It's just a slow time in wrestling in the sense that you just had SummerSlam, Survivor Series in November. That's a big one, especially with the War Games. So you got to build it up somehow, and all you're doing right now is just making the foundation for that.
Well, and it's still possible that they come back for Payback because there was that one like promotion that was advertising a meet and greet with Rikishi that said, "Come meet Rikishi before he's a referee at Payback for like his sons." So it's possible that we're going to see Jey Uso return much sooner than what people are thinking because maybe we do get Jey Uso versus Jimmy. But then there's a lot of people that are saying that they want to hold it off for Mania.
I think you need to.
I
think you can.
I don't know. I feel like that's a long way to try and like end this. I don't know. It's possible. I can't even contemplate that right now. Honestly, the bloodline and trying to figure out what is going to happen is too much for me.
It's a lot to do, generally.
Yeah. So, but I did want to mention, because of everything that is happening, don't you think that this Solo Sikoa theory is looking pretty good right now?
It is looking good, especially since I've heard rumblings of Solo and Roman WrestleMania. So,
how does that feel?
It's not good.
Remember when you said you don't want to? Remember, you're like, I don't like to be wrong.
Yeah, no, this one, if I'm wrong about it, it's gonna sting because I really need I want to be right to prove Jack Roberts wrong.
If I was able to keep clips on my computer longer than I can, because I basically have to delete them from my computer like every couple weeks because I don't have enough space. I would have kept that clip of when I originally said that Solo was going to be the one to dethrone him.
Yeah, but Sarah, it's on our YouTube channel.
I know, but I have to like go and we have 700 videos. Like,
well, that's what the peeps are for. They can go
yeah,
search it
if someone
and bring
can,
it to
if
us.
I can find it or someone else can find the first time that I said it, because if that's what ends up happening, I'm just gonna be like, wow.
I gotta give credit where credit's due, Sarah. It would be fucking pretty cool.
That would be
That would be really insane if you did.
because I don't remember when I first said it. I don't remember if it was before Mania, after Mania. I don't remember. It must have been.
I think it was before.
It might have been. I have no idea. That's why I'm saying I'm gonna have to look through. It might have been afterwards because
it had to be after because Cody Rhodes. We
Mhm.
were so on that train, and then
yeah,
was on it when the
But-
ship sank. So,
but yeah, I still like the idea of it being solo, not just because that's what I've been saying, but just because of how things are panning out. Like if we are going to see Jay versus Jimmy solo, there hasn't really been any further indication that he's going to split off from Roman anytime soon. And I think that they could sell that pretty easily, like just have him partnered up, because that was when, you know, most people are saying once Roman is by himself and everyone has left him, including Paul, I guess, is when we're probably going to see him finally lose the title, because then it's like he doesn't have anyone in his back pocket working for him anymore. But then there's like so many Samoans that they can call up. I mean,
there's a whole island full of them.
Yeah, Umaga's son just debuted in the Indies, so
yeah,
who knows?
MLW has someone Fatu who's incredible.
Yeah, so it's like there are so many things, but
it's awesome.
Oh, the Kingdom of Razor wants to see my cat. Hold on.
She is always making an appearance.
I know.
She needs to get her camera time. She'll interfere in anything. That's what I've learned with this. Hire my hip. Oh, now she doesn't want to. All right. Let's see the cat. There she is.
Sorry, I was muted. Here you go. She's just a little lady. She's just a little lady.
She's a little lady.
Just a little lady.
So happy to be here.
She doesn't like to be held. She likes to be the star. She doesn't care about my computer basically unless I'm streaming. It's like she knows that the camera's on, so that's when she decides that she wants to get all the love and be annoying, like what she's doing right now, which is rubbing her face on my computer screen. So
it's definitely comfy.
She even did this when I was interviewing,
Oh, really? That's tough.
I was like, oh my God, like, why do you have to be doing this right now? But anyway, that was Smackdown. We thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of the Smackdown Breakdown, part of Pitts and Sarah's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. Thank you. It like LA Knight.
Well, I don't want to get sued for copyright infringement, so we gotta.
Who did this though?
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, but who else did that? There was someone else who did that.
I don't know. Gimmicks all
mesh. Think of it. Okay.
So go and check out all the archive. Oh, what's up?
Also, we're rebranding. So our podcast will be coming back at some point.
Good announcement. Great announcement out of you.
Yeah, because someone left a very nice comment
nice.
This weekend and was asking about the show being turned into a podcast, and that was originally how this was until we decided we wanted everybody to see our beautiful faces all the time. So and your championship. So as we're going through, we've come up with a name for the show, and as we're trying to kind of rebrand and get all of that stuff together, that is when we will be creating a new account for our podcast. So if you are interested and want to listen to our voices on the go, because you can't watch the stream, that will be coming back shortly. So I just wanted to make sure that I put that out there for all of you guys that are watching, in case that is something that you guys were wondering but hadn't asked or we hadn't addressed it yet. So
exactly. Thank you for that, because that is coming. It's in the works. We're working on it. And in the meantime, hit that subscribe button. Okay. Hit that
Mhm.
subscribe button. Check out all the videos in the archives. If you can find the video of when Sara first
I know.
made that prediction that Solo would become the next tribal chief, along with a plethora of others in the archives, old streams, whatnot. So go subscribe, hit that bell notification to know when we go live as well. And then to follow us on all other social media platforms, hit that link down below and check that out. Leave a comment as well. What was your favorite part of SmackDown?
I try to respond to all of the comments that I can.
Sara's good. She's good with that. So,
I try to.
We try. That's all we do here on the show. So, until next time, thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. We will see you next episode. Yeah. Yeah.